Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of week 19 of the festive edition of our 2019-2020 Premier League season. Now all these fixtures take place on Boxing Day, which is the 26th of December, apart from one which is Wolves against Manchester City, which
absolutely disgusting
place on Friday. So if I was a fan of one of those two clubs, I would not be happy. But enough of that. Yeah, but enough of that. Let's crack on and have a look at how well we got on in week 18.
So in week 18 I had an average week, had 5 points with one perfect result, that being Burnley to beat Bournemouth 1-0.
And I just had 1 point more than you, Nathan, but I also predicted the 1-0 away win for Burnley over Bournemouth. Representing the viewers last week was Andrew Vale, and Andrew had a bit of a disastrous time coming away with just 2 points. So overall now, Nathan, you're on 136 points for the season. I'm on 134 points for the season, and the viewers are on 122 points. Top scorer of the week for week 18 though was Dennis Wang with a magnificent 9 points. And remember, there was only 9 fixtures last weekend because Liverpool were playing in that and West Ham weren't playing either. So enough of last week, let's crack on and get into the predictions for week 19.
Okay, so first up we have the lunchtime kickoff between Spurs and Brighton. Now Spurs, last week they lost to Chelsea 2-0, which was, well, you could say that was quite surprising, really.
It was shocking to me.
Really shocking, especially with the way Chelsea have been playing recently and Spurs have started to pick things up. Son, another red card. First player to get 3 red cards in a calendar year since Lee Cattermole for Sunderland since 2010, which is quite a shocking stat. All the Tottenham fans defending him, saying, oh, he's not that kind of player, he's not that kind of player. Well, you don't get sent off 3 times in a year for nothing, so you really need to change your moral, Spurs fans. But anyway, coming up against a Brighton team. You're shaking your head about that.
Well, yeah, you're going to upset the Spurs fans now, so
good. Well, but anyway, coming up against a Brighton team who lost against Sheffield United, but then again, Sheffield United 5th position. Brighton doing average at the moment, iffy form, you could say. Currently coping in 13th. Only lost 3 of their last 6 matches, with the rest of them being draws and 1 victory, of course. But as it's at Tottenham and Brighton can be a bit iffy away. They do have strong home form, however. I can see Tottenham, and they should really be winning this one. I reckon it'll be a 2-1 victory to Spurs.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the scoreline is going to be 2-1 to Spurs over Brighton. Spurs last week, as we've just touched on, I don't know if they lost against Chelsea. Son getting sent off for kicking out. Disastrous there for Spurs. I thought with Mourinho hosting Chelsea last week, I thought they would have been, they would have
should have been a win,
really. I think Tottenham would have won that match, but it wasn't to be. Chelsea played very well, William popping up with a goal as well, so that was a good win. But I think Spurs are going to bounce back in this one. Brighton don't tend to do too well away from home, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 scoreline in this match. Next up, we got the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs between Bournemouth and Arsenal. Tricky one to predict this one. Arsenal last weekend going away to Everton. I think we predicted that Everton would win that one, particularly the way they've been sort of turning their ship
with Big Dunk, of course, who is no longer in a job.
They've turned their ship around slightly now. Bournemouth, I think they've won 1 of their last 7 matches now, which was that Chelsea away win. So you see these results now sort of topsy-turvy all over the place. But in this match, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to actually go for an Arsenal win. Arteta in charge for his first match. So hopefully we'll see, from my perspective, an away win to Arsenal in this one, because I really need the points in this prediction lead. 1-0 to Arsenal in this one.
I agree with you, but I think it's going to be a very narrow scoreline. I actually think Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet. I think new manager
second match on the trot.
Yes, second match on the trot. I think Arteta's going to come in with the influence. The first priority for him must be the defence. If not, then clearly he's been living under a rock since Unai Emery has been there. But anyway, I can see Arsenal winning this one 1-0. Bournemouth, with the amount of injuries they got, I mean, pretty much half of their defence is out. With Ake, they've been really struggling at the back, and with a lack of options up front. I believe Josh King came back last week, which sort of helped them out, but yeah, it'll be a narrow 1-0 victory to the Gunners in this one. Next up, we have a very difficult clash between Aston Villa and Norwich, two promoted sides going up against each other now. Villa, terrible at the moment, losing their last 4 matches on the bounce. Now, looking at Villa's performance last week, there is one clear problem, and that is they're playing with such a low tempo. They're acting as if they can pass it around the middle a lot. They're really getting nothing forward, sort of being a bit lazy, really. Not playing with high enough pressure, trying to force a goal through, and yeah, they're really struggling to score at the moment, and then they're letting stupid chances get through into the net. With these silly defensive mistakes, whereas Norwich been a bit iffy as well. Going to be a really tough one to predict, this one. Canwell is playing really well, along with Pukki's starting to bounce a little bit. Once again now, after the Pukki party was over since October, really. But this is clearly going to be stalemate, this one. Can't see any team bettering each other in this one, and I can see it only being a 1-1 draw.
I think you've been copying my results, because I'm also going to go for a 1-1 draw.
I have not copied your results.
3 matches now on the bounce between us. We've gone for exactly the same scores. Yeah, I can't really decide who's going to win this one, so I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Last weekend it was a disaster, really, you'd have to say, for the home side. Villa
were awful last week.
Southampton, okay, we know that Danny Ings is on fire at the moment, but at home, that's the game that Aston Villa should really be winning at this stage of the season. That was a 6-pointer there, but in this, Jack Grealish popping up with a goal, and I put him in my fantasy football team as well, so that's great there. So for this one, 1-1. I don't think Norwich are going to go. I think they're quite resolute at the moment, Norwich, but going for a 1-1 scoreline in this fixture. Next up, we've got Chelsea against Southampton. Another difficult one to predict.
What do you predict in this one?
I know Chelsea, excellent win against Tottenham, and it wouldn't surprise me in this fixture that they could lose against Southampton, and who would think that Southampton could beat Chelsea? But they could. However, I think that after that away win against Tottenham, Chelsea going to be full of confidence at home on Boxing Day. The crowd are going to be up for this one, and I'm going to see that the crowd will get them through this fixture, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the home side.
Are you sure you haven't copied me? Because we've gone exactly the same for this one.
Exactly the same.
Completely agree with you. 2-1. I can't exactly add any more comments there, but definitely one Chelsea should be winning. Otherwise, you've got to massively question Frank Lampard with this, and they're going to drop like a stone if they lose this game, definitely, because this run will keep continuing where they sort of do this Robin Hood thing, take points from the rich and give them straight to the poor. Next up, we have Palace versus West Ham, all London derby. Now, West Ham, of course, didn't play last time around because they were meant to play Liverpool, but that got moved because of the Club World Cup. And then Palace, been on a good run of form. Palace starting to slip a little bit. Last 3 matches, 2 draws and a loss, and of course they did lose last time around as well, so starting to slip a little bit. Really, West Ham should be winning this one, but because it's at Selhurst, and I can see Roy whipping them back into winning shape along with West Ham. Got to unrustle the feathers, really, so I can see this one being a 2-1 victory to the Eagles. Yeah, another difficult one to predict, this one. West Ham's last fixture, they actually beat Southampton, so another tough one to call. It's Christmas, it's Boxing Day, it's at home, it's an all-London affair. I think the spoils are going to be shared in this one, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Next up, we got Everton at home against Burnley. Another tough one to call, this one. Very difficult. Ancelotti now in charge, so he's probably had a few days just to get used to the players. Not a lot of time really to impose himself, because it's going to take a while. But tough one to call. It's going to be a close match, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win. I think after that draw against Arsenal, and prior to that a draw away against Manchester United, and before that was a home win against Chelsea, I think. So in confident mood there up at Goodison Park, and I'm going to go for a 2-1
victory to the Toffees, even though Burnley had a great result away last week against the Cherries of Bournemouth.
But then again, that's not that difficult.
It's not when you consider Bournemouth's form, but they did beat Chelsea away prior to that, so it's all over the place at the moment, the Premier League.
Yeah, massively all over the place, but I think Ancelotti's influence, because of how great of a manager he is, especially if you look at all the silverwares that he's won across Europe, except for Napoli, of course. Then
domestically with Napoli, but then he did get them into the knockout stages of the Champions League. So.
He did indeed, but I think the new manager bounce is going to start straight away. He's going to really start to organise a system in there immediately. Burnley is going to be a massive game where they can show Goodison what that team is capable of and what Ancelotti is capable of doing. Burnley, as you know, can be horrific away from home. Really, they should have won more than 1-0.
They are a tough nut. They are a tough nut to crack.
They are a tough nut to crack, but I can't see him
like those Brazilian Christmas nuts.
Exactly that, but I can't see him being able to break down an Ancelotti Everton side. So 2-0 to Everton for me. Next up we have Sheffield United versus Watford. Now Watford beating Man United 2-0 last week. Nigel Pearson, you could say, starting to turn things around there, even though Man United are at a dire at the moment. Coming up against the Sheffield United side, 5th place in the table, won their last 4 matches, doing absolutely stupendously at the moment, and that's going to continue at Bramall Lane, and I can see this one being a 3-0 victory to the Blades. You could say Watford have a chance in this one, but because it was against Man United last week, and we all know how bad they are.
Yeah, as you said, Watford having a great result against Manchester United last weekend.
Comedy show, isn't it? And especially that was Watford's first home win of the season. So
yes, but it's weird because Manchester United have actually been results wise doing very well. Pogba's back for them, but we'll come to Manchester United in the next fixture. In this one though, we know that Pearson's probably shoring things up at the back, but they're coming up against Sheffield United, who find themselves in 5th place at the moment. I think they've only conceded once in their last 4 matches as well, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one, but I think the Blades will just edge this one 1-0. Next up we've got the Red Devils, as we just mentioned. Results wise, they've been doing very well. They find themselves in 8th position. I think I predicted them to finish something like 8th or 10th at the end of the season anyway, so only a couple of places from my prediction for the whole season there. They're coming up against Newcastle United, who had a very good home win against Crystal Palace last weekend. I think it was Almiron's first goal.
Finally
as
scored.
Well, he did.
After all those appearances.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight match. Could end up in a draw, but I think the way that Manchester United have been grinding out these results recently, apart from last weekend of course, I think they'll just narrowly beat Newcastle in this one in the Boxing Day fixture, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the Red Devils.
No, I disagree with you. I can see Newcastle pulling away on this one. I think Man United are going to start to slip up now. Especially an interesting fact for you, ever since that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in charge permanently of Man United, not the interim caretaker stuff beforehand, and if you take out all the penalties that they've scored, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's win percentage of Man United is a measly and a pathetic 7%.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure of that. Google it if you really want to. But yeah, it's pathetic. And Newcastle, with Almiron scoring last week, that's going to give him loads of confidence. He's been waiting for that first goal, and once he gets that first goal, like he did in the States with Atlanta, he's gonna start firing now, and he's going to be absolutely immense.
And maybe Voldemort could conjure up some magic as well.
Yeah, hopefully he can. I can't see Man United doing anything here. I mean, except for the only people who will be happy at the club at the moment is all the armchair fans who will be happy that it's on Amazon Prime away from the other matches. So I can see this one being stalemate, 1-1 draw. Next up we have the most difficult one of the weekend, Leicester versus Liverpool. Now Leicester losing last time around to Man City, many could say that's a shock, but then again, going to the Etihad is always a difficult affair, and at some point Leicester had to be broken down with that amazing run they went on. Coming up against the Liverpool side, coming back from Qatar, so they're going to be possibly tired, and especially with such a difficult challenge straight after their Club World Cup win.
Went to extra time as well.
Did go to extra time against a really difficult Flamengo team. Rafinha getting absolutely bullied by Andrew Robertson was the best thing I've ever seen. But yeah, Liverpool should be definitely winning this one, and they're going to bounce ahead with the confidence they got from Flamengo. The unbeaten run's going to continue, and it's going to be a solid 2-1 victory to the Reds.
Interesting. I also feel that Liverpool are going to continue their unbeaten run, but I don't think it's going to be a victory.
Well, that's interesting.
I think it's going to be tight. Leicester haven't won in the last 2 matches, losing against Man City, and prior to that result against Norwich. So I think Brenda, coming up against his former club, they narrowly lost at Anfield earlier in the season. I think it was something like a 90th minute penalty. Was it a penalty?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
I think it was right in the closing, like 93rd minute or something like that. So I think both teams are going to cancel each other out somewhat, even though the attacking flair on both sides is out of this world at the moment. However, we know that the Ox picked up that nasty injury against Flamengo, so maybe tired us there, but they got a very good defence, Liverpool. We all know about that, and I'm going to go
Leicester though. That's the
thing. They do.
Evans and Sonioko as well.
Yeah, but they have conceded 4 goals in their last 2 matches.
Goals though.
However, I think both defences are going to be on top in this one. It's going to be a tight match, and I think they're going to cancel each other out. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw in this one.
Interesting.
And finally, we got the last match of this round of fixture, which is on Friday, I should say, which is Wolves against Manchester City. Wolves find themselves in 6th position, having a fine victory against Norwich last weekend. Norwich on that little bit of a purple patch, you could say. Manchester City as well, picking up a little bit of form. That's 3 wins now out of that last 4 fixtures. Wolves always enjoy playing against Manchester City, always seem to do well with them. But I can see, it's going to be another tight match. I think Aguero is back now, who was on the bench in the last match. So I'm going to go for a tight 2-1 victory to the Citizens, because De Bruyne is in scintillating form
he's ridiculous
at the moment.
Yeah, I disagree with you in a way. I think, and this will probably be I think I'll be the only one be predicting this throughout the whole of your comment section.
Well, I'm not so sure. Looking at your score, I think there'll be quite a few people doing this.
But this is my theory. I think. With the way Man City have been playing recently, and with the form that Wolves have been picking up, and how Wolves did lose the week before and then came back even stronger against Norwich, but they do love a tie against the top 6, and last time that Man City were there, of course they drew, didn't they? 1-1 draw, I believe, 3rd match of the season last year, and I can see that happening again, to be honest. I think Wolves will be well up for it in front of the cameras, really wanting to make a statement and get further up the table, maybe overtake Sheffield United. And I can see this one being Desmond's 2-2. 2 De Bruyne goals, 1 Saiss goal, and 1 Raul Jimenez goal. Yeah, it's an interesting fact, I think, between Man City and Wolves. I think both teams have scored in every single match this season, apart from Wolves, who carved out a 0-0 draw against Leicester in the opening game of the season. So there will be goals. So that concludes our predictions for week 19 of the 2019-2020 Premier League season. As usual, I'm going to leave a template of these fixtures in the description. All you need to do to play along is to copy and paste them into your comment, and like Dennis Wang, who got 9 points last week, you can get a shout out in the next video. It's a very busy time. Very, very busy.
Matches Thursday and Friday, and then there's going to be matches on Saturday. So I think we're going to have to record this will be next run on probably on Friday. So there's not going to be a lot of time to get your predictions in for week 20. Then, but make sure you get your predictions in for week 19. I'm going to have fun reading through your comments between now and the next round of fixtures. Before we go though, Nathan, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, so it's my channel, link in description below.
And will you be vlogging on Boxing Day?
I will indeed. That video will probably come out on Friday, so
we got a busy day Friday. Excellent. Once again, I think on behalf of myself and Nathan, we'll wish you a very happy, Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Or as we say in Wales, Nadolig Llawen Pawb.
Excellent.
Nadolig Llywelyn Pawb.
Exactly. I don't speak that much Welsh myself. For those of you who aren't celebrating Christmas, have a great
Hanukkah
week
as well for you Jewish folk as well.
Yeah. Have a happy and peaceful week, and we'll see you in the next video. Merry Christmas.
Cheers, guys.